Hi everyone, welcome to the Rugby League History channel. Today I'll be doing my tips for round 10 of the 2023 NRL season. Last week I didn't do a tipping video due to the short turnaround, but in round 8 I got 7 out of 8 correct. To anyone new to Rugby League, this round is Magic Round and every single match will be played at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. So let's get started with the first match, which is starting on Friday night. And the first match to start Magic Round is Canterbury-Bankstown against Canberra. Canterbury-Bankstown currently sat in 13th at the moment and Canberra sat in 11th. Canberra have won the last 6 matches against Canterbury-Bankstown in the NRL. Both of these sides have come off narrow wins last week, Canberra by a point and Canterbury-Bankstown by 2 points. This match is going to be really hard to call because not only is it neutral territory, it's also a fact that these two sides have been very indifferent to start the year. Both sides have been up and down, and they've had some bad losses along the way as well. Both of these sides have conceded 50 points in a match. But looking at both teams and how they've been playing so far this year, I think Canberra's slightly edged. So I'm going to go for Canberra to win with no confidence. I'll go for Canberra to win 1-12 there on the Friday. And the second match on the Friday is between Manly-Warringah and Brisbane, and it sees Manly in 6th place at the moment, Brisbane in 1st. In the last 10 meetings between these two sides, both teams have 5 wins each, and it's strangely enough, going into this fixture, Manly are the designated home team at Suncorp Stadium. Both of these teams come in the Magic Round with a loss, and I think with Brisbane as well, Payne Haas will be back for this match. He only got 1 week for that hip drop tackle on Regan Campbell-Gillard. And from what I read, Tom Trbojevic is 50-50 for this game. This is another really hard game to call. But going on how these two sides have played so far in 2023, I can't go past Brisbane to win at home, even though they're the away side for this match. So I'm going to go for Brisbane to win 1-12 there at Suncorp Stadium. The first of the Saturday matches is between New Zealand and Penrith. New Zealand in 8th place at the moment, Penrith in 7th. Penrith have won their last 6 meetings against New Zealand. New Zealand's last win against Penrith come in round 10 of the 2019 NRL season. With Penrith, Liam Martin is still out with injury, and same as Isaac Targo. I couldn't find too much injury news for New Zealand due to the fact that I'm over here in England, so I'm just going off what I can find on the internet. But both of these sides come into the fixture with a loss as well. New Zealand held scoreless at home against Eastern Suburbs, and Penrith, as we all know, lost to West Tigers in Bathurst. For this match, I'm going to go for Penrith to win. I think that both sides will be looking to bounce back after those losses, but I just think on paper Penrith have the better side, so I'm going to go for Penrith to win 1-12 there on the Saturday. And the second match on the Saturday is Cronulla-Sutherland against Redcliffe. It sees Cronulla in 2nd place and Redcliffe in 9th place. According to Clarkie's NRL column, he did a post last year and he said that Cronulla and Redcliffe were going to be rivals because both teams have a sea creature as their nickname, shark and a dolphin. Just reminding everyone out there that this lad has 100,000 followers. I don't know why, I don't know how, but he does. For Cronulla, it looks like Dale Finucane will be back for this match, but Hamlin Ueli will be out for about 5 or 6 weeks from what I read. This is going to be a really entertaining match. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. Both teams have demonstrated that they can score points. However, I just think how the two teams have been going this year, I just can't go past Cronulla, especially how they played last week against North Queensland. So I'll go Cronulla to win 1-12 there on the Saturday. And the final match on Super Saturday is between Melbourne and South Sydney. It sees Melbourne in 4th place and South in 3rd place. These two sides met earlier in the year and Melbourne beat South 18 points to 10. In the last 10 meetings, Melbourne have won 8 of the last 10 against South, and also with Melbourne they come into this fixture off the bye. South Sydney also come into this fixture with a lot of momentum. They've won their last 4 matches in the league. This is going to be a really hard match to call. Melbourne, when they played South earlier in the year, weren't at their best and still got the job done. South coming into this match with a lot of good form and a lot of momentum. Last time out, I tipped South Sydney to beat Melbourne and they fell short. But this time, I'm going to go for South to win again. I think I just can't go past them the way that they've been playing over the last 3 to 4 weeks. So I'll go for South Sydney to win 1-12 there on Super Saturday. The first match on the Sunday is West Tigers up against St George. It sees West Tigers still in last place, up against St George in 15th place. In the last 10 meetings between these two sides, they've both won 5 matches each against each other. West finally got their first win of the year last week against Penrith, but one thing that a lot of people are not mentioning, and I might get a bit of negative comments about this, is the fact that Penrith dropped 2 balls over the line. The first with Taruva and with Nathan Cleary. Now, 9 times out of 10, they score them chances and they win the game. So, was the fact that West Tigers won the game due to a bit of luck, with Penrith being on an off night and dropping the ball over the line, or did they truly deserve to win the match? It's up to you, the viewer, to make that call. And with this St George side, even though they haven't been getting the result every week, they've shown a lot of resilience, they've shown a lot of character, they've shown that they can be competitive. A lot of people have wrote them off at the start of the year, saying that they had the worst squad, they're going to come dead last. But they've shown people that they can be competitive, and they have got a few results this year. This is a really hard game to call, like I see about most of the matches. But with this one, this is a really big opportunity for West Tigers to prove everyone that that win over Penrith was no fluke, and that they can put together 2 consistent performances and get the victory over St George. For this match, though, I will go for St George to win in a very narrow victory. I'll go for them to win by probably 4 to 6 points. With West Tigers, even though they won against Penrith, there was a lot of luck involved. I mean, 9 times out of 10, Taruva and Cleary scored them tries, but they didn't. West Tigers got the victory, but I don't think that they'll be so lucky against St George. So I'll go for Saints to win by 6 points on the Sunday. The second match on the Sunday is between Sydney Roosters and North Queensland. It sees Sydney Roosters in 5th and North Queensland in 16th place. Eastern Suburbs have won their last 5 matches against North Queensland, and depending on what happens in the West Tigers and St George game, if West Tigers do win that match, then North Queensland could potentially be last on the table going into this fixture. Looking at North Queensland's injury list as well, it's not very good, it's quite long, and they were battered last week against Cronulla, and I know that Wobbling Jaw Sports himself had some very choice words directed towards North Queensland in their performances, and they're coming up against an Eastern Suburbs side that have been up and down but were good last week against New Zealand. So I'm going to go in this match Eastern Suburbs to win by 1 to 12 points. I think that they'll be too good for North Queensland there on the Sunday. And the final game to close out Magic Round for 2023 is the Gold Coast against Parramatta. Gold Coast in 10th, Parramatta in 12th. In days gone by, Gold Coast were the bogey side for Parramatta, but in recent times that trend has changed, and now Parramatta are the bogey side for the Gold Coast. They've won their last 7 matches against the GC in the league. The last time that the Gold Coast defeated Parramatta in the NRL were in round 3 of the 2017 NRL season. They defeated them 26 points to 14, and I remember that match because the Gold Coast, I think after half an hour, only had 1 player left on the bench, and they beat Parramatta quite convincingly. And I also remember punching the telly, and I think I remember breaking a couple of things in the house, I forget. Parramatta have had a really tough draw to start the year, but in all the losses that they've had, their biggest loss were against Brisbane, and that were only by 10 points. I think this will be a really high scoring game because both sides have demonstrated that they can score points, and especially with the Gold Coast, their defence this year hasn't been the best. If you look at some of the results that they've had, they've conceded 32 points, 34 points, 24 points, 43 points and 28 points. So I think we're going to be in for a high scoring match there on the Sunday between these two sides. Now, I normally tip against Parramatta. I don't have a lot of faith in the club, but I think they're slowly coming into this year. And last week they were quite good against Newcastle. So for this match against the Gold Coast, I will back them. And I'll go for Parramatta to win 1-12 there on the Sunday. So that has been my tips around 10 of the 2023 NRL season. Hope you enjoyed these tips. Let me know in the comment section below who you're tipping. And also, if you like Rugby League history on YouTube, go and check me out on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. I'll put links in the description below for those pages. But anyways, this has been Rugby League history, and I'll catch us all later in the next one. Alright, tatty bye for now.